Back on a Tuesday night, Open Line continues. I said we'd get to James next, who's holding. Hi, James. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
When the land was donated to the city for the fairgrounds, and it also had a 2-mile dirt track on it where they did harness racing and this, that, and the other on it. Stipulation was when it was donated that they couldn't do away with the racetrack, or it reverted back to the heirs, or if they tried to sell it or develop it, it would revert back to the heirs.
Okay. I'm not sure I know much about that part of it.
No, I don't know if I have either yet.
You're gonna have to. We should have given you a pad of paper because you're going to have a lot of homework to do when you get back to the office.
Yeah. Absolutely. I kind of assumed that we might hear some calls that I haven't, quite dove head first into yet. But that I know that a little bit about the history, that it was property that was given to Mr. Raines for his service to the country. So
I will say that, and I've been here for 11 years now, and been visiting Nashville since I was a kid because of all my family here. It really is interesting when we're talking about the Fairgrounds in Nashville, how passionate people get. And we've talked about the nostalgia, and that everyone has their story, native Nashvillians, of growing up. But it is remarkable, especially when you bring up racing and what should be done, and mistakes that perhaps were made in the past, whether they were political or business or whatever. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of stories. And it really sparks something in a lot of people who call in. They have very strong opinions, and I'm sure over the next months and years, if we're lucky enough to keep you, you'll hear from people. But it tells you a lot about, like you said, the history of this property and how passionate people are about it. That it continues into the future.
Well, and to be honest, I look at it that way.
Yeah.
I take it as people are committed to this wonderful space, this community asset that we have, and we're going to look at it that way. Part
of it too, I think, and that we're in It City, and we're really going through. This is a transformative time right now in Nashville, and I think a lot of people who have lived here for a long time are suffering from some anxiety about we're okay with the growth. We understand it happens, and economically that can be great for a lot of people, means jobs for a lot of folks, but we just don't want to lose the character of the city. And when we see things like the fairgrounds, it's again, like you said, that people want to kind of just smother it and protect it and say leave it alone, keep it as is, or they're afraid developers are going to get in there, and because so much is changing so quickly in the city.
Right, and our team respects that and respects that history and that tradition. That said, I think there's room there though for some creativity.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to really be looking for, is what are those new ideas? Keeping some of the history, because that is it's important. Yeah. It's kind of part of the fabric of what makes Nashville Nashville. But looking creatively at the future to say, okay, what's coming up? How can we capitalize on it? How can we bring the next generation? Because what we want to do is make sure that our children and our grandchildren have those really amazing stories to share with their children about, hey, when I was a kid at the fairgrounds, this is what I did, and we want to help support that.
737+ is the phone number, everybody, if you'd like to call in, like Jay, Jody, Jimmy, and James. It'd be great if another Jay would call in. We'll just keep it going, but we welcome all your phone calls. So we mentioned the support of Metro. Right now I have here that the investment is $12 million for improvements and $3 million for new community recreation amenities. That's a partnership with Metro Parks. That's a good deal of money. This was presented to the Fair Board in August, again, just before you got here. This study that we talked about evaluated and rated the current condition, the use of the buildings, and you mentioned kind of the condition is that really the concerns are those behind the scenes infrastructure concerns right now, or at least getting some investment spending some money on upgrading, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be a really a thoughtful balance between, like I said, that behind the scenes, getting everything up to where it needs.
Just like if you're a homeowner, it's the kind of stuff that you have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It doesn't really, you can't see a lot of it, right? But you know, it's something that has to be done.
But that community piece with the recreational opportunities and the new amenities, with improving the greenway through there, adding some trails, the multi-purpose fields. We know that soccer is becoming more and more popular, and it's that neighborhood, that area of Nashville right now is underserved with fields, and we'll be able to work with parks and work with our designers to create a multi-purpose site. We can use it for soccer, but we can also use it for fun runs that we currently host, and parking needs if that need arises. So it's going to be a really great collaboration with parks on how we can use that space and maximize it for both of us.
All right, Forward 5. This is a 90-day planning initiative with the goal of completing a comprehensive and dynamic 5-year strategic plan through the year 2021. Talk to me a little bit about Forward 5. Now.
Well, it's a little catchphrase that we put together just to title and market this effort to create a really dynamic roadmap of where do we want to go, who are we, what do we believe in, what are our values, looking at our mission statement and saying, does this really represent what the Fairgrounds is? And it's going to be a very aggressive schedule. It is one of the things that I committed to the Fair Board and to administration, that it is my priority within my first 90 days. That is going to be my significant impact right off the bat, is to create this roadmap. Certainly am not going to do it in a vacuum. I'm going to need a lot of support, and a lot of support from my team, which they've given us, administration, elected officials, and most importantly, the public, our customers, our guests, the residents. Anyone who has an idea or a voice, there's going to be a way to contribute to that. And we're going to be looking at the traditional things of what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what are our opportunities, do we have any barriers that we need to work through, and then identifying strategic issues. What are those things that we want to put plans in place to help overcome? And what's going to be great about it is that it is a living document. It's not something that we're going to create, write it down, say, hey, we're done, set it on a shelf. It's going to be living and moving and breathing and changing and evolving through the 5 years, just as the property will, as Wedgwood Houston undergoes its transformation, as Metro changes. We're going to be able to update that, and then we'll be able to make our business plans and our even all the way down to our personal, individual annual work plans, all feed into this 5-year strategic plan. So Forward 5, and I hope this is an invitation for everybody to participate.
I was just going to say, so how can the public get involved in this?
We're going to be scheduling a public hearing. I'd like to have it almost like an open house, welcome people inside, take a look at the property if you haven't been there lately, see what we have, see where we're going, and then for people who maybe can't come out to the property, we're going to do some sort of online survey so that we can get it out on our website that way, so that people can participate. And of course, we always take ideas on the phone, through email, those ways too. So
how many on staff there that you're overseeing?
Right now we have about 19 full-time people. We've got a host of seasonals and part-time, which are a huge help, but we're pretty skeleton. But I'll tell you, we do it's amazing, and I will tell you.
I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Oh boy.
Are you impressed so far with your staff?
Oh, absolutely, and I will tell you, the transition, the fair ended Sunday evening.
Right.
We, along with the State Fair Association and their team of volunteers and staff, between their efforts and our fairground staff, have completely transformed and cleaned up that site for a turnaround on Thursday for when our flea market customers and vendors
Right.
come in. It is a phenomenal effort. I'm incredibly impressed. I walked around. I walk every day. I call it my walkabout, and every day I go out and you know, say hi to the team and evaluate learn what's going on. It's incredibly impressive, the amount of work that was done so quickly. Because it takes a lot of work.
The actual state fair numbers, how did we do this year overall? I know you mentioned the weather was, you know, an issue, but overall attendance, would you know, is that something for next year? You obviously you want each year to get more and more people to come to the actual state fair.
Absolutely. We contract with the Tennessee State Fair Association to put on the fair. I don't have the final numbers. I think they're still trying to
tweak them,
maybe get their information, because you know, Kroger's been a big partner of theirs to sell tickets, and I haven't gotten final numbers, but I'll tell you the first 5 days was really good attendance. Yeah, it was very favorable. It was a bummer, you know, that Saturday rained, but what I'm hoping is that Sunday rebounded, and everybody that was going to come on Saturday just said, well, no, we're going to go to the fairgrounds and the state fair on Sunday. And so we had just an amazing crowd on Sunday.
Great. 737 plus, we'd like to talk about the Fairgrounds Nashville and the future of this site. As I mentioned, 117 acres there, right in the heart of Wedgwood, Houston. As Nashville grows, what do you think the future of Fairgrounds Nashville? Give us your ideas. Give us a call at 737 plus. We'll go ahead and take a break here. Courtney, is that all right? Yep, she says. All right, we'll be back right after this. Stay with us.